Welcome to Shade and the City. I'm your girl, Treese.
It's Nels.
And today we are here to get into our recap of the 90-Day Fiancé Season 11, Episode 13, Love by Any Other Name, okay? As long as your name's not Brenda. So, yeah, if you guys have not already, and as you know, clearly this is our first couple. It's all off today, y'all. It's all off. Don't judge us. But if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like button.
And that subscribe button.
And yeah, let's jump right into it. And let's get shady. And let's get them off the screen for a second. Yeah. And Madhi. All right. So Stevi is trying on a wedding dress and she wants Madhi's opinion. And she said that although she's realized that they're not on the same page after their argument, she's decided she's going to move forward anyway, because that's just what she liked to do. So she comes out and she tells him, she comes out and shows him the dress and he tells her that it makes her look old. And frumpy, as Nell says. So they had to go over to the good old New Orleans for their bachelorette festivities. And she asked him if he's excited. And we learned that his friend Saeed is coming for his bachelor party. And so Madhi says that he's nervous. And so I thought he was nervous because of like the customs. Like I thought maybe Saeed might be like super religious. And like, that's what I thought he was worried about. But I don't know. When we met Saeed, I was like, what were you worried about? Saeed seemed, I mean, he pried a little bit, but Saeed seemed cool. He seemed with the shits. I don't understand. Stevi tells him that they're going to a burlesque show plan. They have a burlesque show plan. And Madhi doesn't know if he should be doing it. He feels like he might see something that may make him start to question her sexuality again. And I said, well, Jesus. And then especially from the preview, the girls just there swinging a tatas around on stage, and you see him get up and get upset and walk out. I don't know. I don't know. Bless his heart. I feel bad. I'm starting to actually feel bad for Stevi now, because poor thing, you just can't go out and enjoy life now. If you look at a girl too long, he gonna be thinking you want to sleep with her. If you compliment the girl, say
because I feel like it's her fault.
Well, it is her fault for not shutting it down.
Exactly. I mean, if it wasn't an issue, you should have shut it down from the get-go. I understand why he still has doubts.
So then we see Madhi finally meets Saeed. They apparently met online the same way him and Stevi met. So they're from the same country, it's obviously same culture. But Saeed has been living here in the US for 10 years. Madhi starts opening up about their problems, which was, I mean, I guess because he feels comfortable with him and he ain't really got nobody else to talk to. But I don't know if he should have done this, especially before he even met the girl. So he basically tells Saeed that, like, yeah, I don't know if she really like men like that. I think she might be into women. And so Saeed's like, well, in America, we see things like that every day. I understand, back where we're from, that's taboo. But and so he was like, well, what happens if y'all get married and you find something out about her past, or she decides that, she changes what she does or doesn't like, and that bothers you? What's going to happen? And he said, I don't know. I just know I love her so much. And I said, stop playing in our face. Stop playing in our face. Just say you want that card.
You think that's what it is?
I'm convinced now. I don't think he like her.
I mean, it's for good reason. I don't like her either.
But I mean, just like even in their interactions, the way like it doesn't. I mean, clearly they like to roll around in bed together, but outside of that, I mean,
it's giving Sarper and Shekinah. That's where they connect.
Yeah, that's where they connect clearly. Because other than that, I don't see them connecting on anything. Um, and yeah, I'm really starting to question his. And we're not even starting. I fully believe now that his intentions aren't good. Um, so basically, Saeed tells him he doesn't know. He said, "I'm not sure how long you can let love justify the terrible feelings that you're having." I said, "Woo," and he said, "I'm worried about you." So Marty's like, "Nah, I'm just want to let it go. I don't want to think about it." But he admits that he doesn't want to feel trapped after the wedding. So Saeed says that Marty can't be himself and questions if Stevie cares at all. So then Stevie pops up and Marty, says that he immediately regretted telling all his business and hope he hasn't poisoned Saeed's mind when it comes to Stevie. So yes, he did. And so he suggested that they go for a walk, and Saeed asked Stevie how her family feels about the relationship, and she admits that she hadn't said much to them. And so Saeed was like, "Well, what are you hiding him?" And so Stevie tells him, well, because of Marty's arrival date, because it got moved up, I just thought I would have more time to do all that. And so Saeed thinks there's other things that she's hiding from him. And so Stevie sends Marty to get oysters, which I hope they were charboiled oysters and weren't just regular oysters. Okay. Because I know about them charboiled oysters. I sat there and ate them joints back to back. Okay.
But you eat raw oysters too, don't you?
I wouldn't go to New Orleans and eat raw oysters.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I thought I don't remember who you were talking
Yeah,
to.
I absolutely have, but
Okay.
I'm not gonna go to New Orleans, the home of the charboiled oyster, and not get a charboiled oyster. That's just not. That's unheard of.
No, them things is good.
Yeah, they're very good. I'm surprised we had some type of mercury poisoning the way we was down in them things. So Saeed tells Stevie she doesn't want to see Marty hurt, and he asked her if she really cares about his concern and what he's dealing with, or is she just being selfish? And I was like, okay, brother. I mean, there's a way to say things. So Stevie was like, well, what would make you think that? And Saeed said that he sacrificed, Marty sacrificed a lot. And you don't seem like you sacrificed anything. And I was like, oh. And so now, if I was Stevie, I'd be like, you know what? I just gotta cut you out because you didn't overstep. You didn't overstep.
I just got to cut you out.
I just got to cut you out. So Stevie, and Stevie feels like she has because I don't allow people to get close to me, and he's like, that doesn't seem like much of a sacrifice, right? And Stevie's trying to remain polite, but wonders what Marty told him to make him feel this way, and so she lets him know, well, you know what, Marty's grown and he can make his own choices. And I was like, that's one of those respectfully get the fuck out of my face. Respectfully.
Or
okay.
Not.
Or not.
Yeah. All right. So
your favorite people.
Sarper and Shekinah.
I was so happy I didn't have them.
I started to say Sharper.
Sharper. That's what we should call them.
Sharper. I know you've been getting them like so much. Now I got them. Okay. So apparently they had makeup sex. Okay. But she said it doesn't make up for everything. It doesn't make everything okay. And he said that he didn't mean to do it. He just had his animal instincts. But that's the difference with them. Their connection is just 1 in a million. Sir, I don't even think he knows what a real connection looks like to even.
I was gonna say that
to compare it to, because I mean y'all cool, but you know what? I'm on the other side of the screen, so I'm gonna just. So she basically explains that she can't do the silent treatment, and he explains that him being in another country, not being able to work, makes him feel trapped and concerned. So he said where he failed at was to communicate his feelings, and say maybe she would have been more understanding if he had done that. And she said, "Look, the way you treat me directly reflects how I am towards you. Okay? So if you don't like it, treat me better." I said,
okay.
And literally that's every woman.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Every woman. And I just love the way she said it. So then he told her, just touch me, because when you don't, you become a bitch.
Oh.
Which she thought was funny. He said, "What's so funny?" She's like, "Because you just called me a bitch." And I was just like, I guess it's the language barrier. Okay.
Right.
He said, even when we're mad, we just need to touch each other. And she said that she hears him when he says that he's going to do, when he says he's going to do better, but she feels like once he corrects one thing, it'll be something else. And said if he doesn't stick to the things that he promised her today, she doesn't know if she'll be able to marry him. And good sex just ain't enough.
Mm.
So Shekinah has finally moved her business out of their home and into an actual location. Confetti, congratulations. And it does it's very beautiful. And she's hoping that this will help their relationship. I think it will. She said that, she wants him to have some sense of normalcy like they did in Turkey. So Sarper came in and was super awkward with her handyman, Daniel. I mean, literally, he's just in there checking this dude out, and he's just basically like, who the hell is this? So, he said that his idea of a handyman is some goofy, chubby guy. And she's like, baby, this is LA. Everybody look good out here, okay? Or trying to, all right? They spending the money to do it. So she told him that he's super stressful, and she's been wearing a wig because she's been losing her hair because of all the stress he's caused her. Then, he talks about how he just kind of, I guess, ignored that. He talks about how most handymen have plumber butt syndrome. And he hopes this guy was wearing a belt. So she was like, of course he is. And he's like, well, how the hell you know? And she ain't get no answer. I think she wanted to stress him out. And literally he looked even more stressed.
Right.
Then she wanted some acknowledgement for, what she did for him and how she moved her business into a much smaller
space.
Yes. And he said, yeah, it's like a butthole. And she said, what? Did you just call my business a butthole? And he said, the Turkish say it like meaning like it's cute, like a little butthole. I've never in my life thought a butthole was cute.
Me either.
Maybe guys do. I don't know, but yeah. I've never in my life. Now apparently Sarper wants to do comedy. And I think Sarper's funny. I think just like Shekinah does, but stand-up is a totally different beast. And he said he knows it's risky, but he got to take the risk. So I thought it was hilarious. And, he's trying to get ready for his stand-up show and he's practicing in front of the dogs and said, they're the best audience. So Shekinah points out that they're sleeping and, not laughing and was like, that's not a very good sign. I said,
well, the dog, you know what? Leave him alone. It's not like the dog is going to laugh. She was so terrible. And I think in actuality, I mean, his humor is a little, but I actually think that,
I do think Sarper's funny. I think he's funny, but that's like in conversation. I think, I don't know if this is going to sound harsh. I think majority people that are funny like on a day-to-day basis, like in conversation.
Right.
But when you actually have to think of jokes, write them down and deliver it to an audience and make them laugh, I think that's when it becomes a job and that's when it becomes harder. So I think it is a totally different beast. So he said, you always tell me I'm the funniest guy, and she said, yeah, like out here in the wild. And basically, like I said, when you start writing things down that you think are funny, it kind of translates different. So everybody showed up and showed out to come and support Sarper for his first stand-up comedy show. Even Dan, even though he wasn't invited. And Sarper just kind of walked away. And she kind of was like, get your ass over here. So then Dan says, I don't know if I'm going to laugh, but, let's see if he's good enough. I know Sarper was just like, I just want to punch this dude. Okay. So, Sarper got up there and he was dry as hell, but I thought it was funny when he did make the joke and said, you're all attractive and healthy men, even you, Dan. That was really the only thing that I thought was funny. But that's what I'm saying. And he said that was kind of off the dome. That's what I mean. Off the dome, he's funny, but right down his jokes, So basically, even after the show, the friends supported, even though he didn't do too well. But he said, he enjoyed himself. But then Dan got mad at Shekinah and told her he's not talking to her because he feels like she knew what Sarper was going to say. And Sarper really don't give a damn. He said he didn't start this. Dan did. And he's just going to continue it. I said, okay, Sarper. If I was Shekinah and Dan was like, yeah, I'm not gonna, I mean, I guess it is her friend, but dude, you're trying to holler at me for real. And you talking about, I'm not talking to you. Like, ew. Like, you sound like one of my homegirls.
Right. I finally got Mark and Mindy, Mark and Mina. Okay. So Mina has made a cake for Mark to celebrate, or was it pancakes? I don't know what it was, but
it looked like crepes, but I think it was supposed to be pancakes.
And I ain't even gonna hold you. I thought it made it. I think I like crepes more than pancakes.
I love crepes.
Yeah.
So
and
I'm not a pancake person unless it's like banana pancakes or apple cinnamon pancakes. But yeah, I'm not a.
Yeah, I'm definitely not that much of a. I don't need extras in my pancakes.
That's the only way I'll eat it.
Oh, anyway, enough about pancakes. So, Mark is 59. Okay. So Mark asked her if he's excited, that her sister Alex is coming and her brother, is supposed to be coming with Clayton as well for their wedding. And he explains that they're still waiting for Clayton to get his passport. Mina wants to push the date back, of course, because she wants her son there. But Mark tells her that their lawyer said her visa will run out and they don't have any more time. And so Mark tells her if she doesn't get married because Clayton doesn't come, she'll need to go back to France. And then he tells her, and if she goes back, then Maria stays because she's an American citizen. And I said, not him pulling that card. I said, oh.
So, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I actually thought of you.
What?
In this scene, I was like, Treese would have flipped the hell
out.
I was like, Treese, and Mina, I guess, didn't see it that way, but I automatically felt like, I was like, Treese would have seen it as, oh, it's cool for me to leave, but as long as
Maria's here, yeah, that's exactly how I would have took that.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah, so basically, Mina gets emotional saying that this is the hardest decision she's ever had to make. She plans to ask him about adopting Clayton, and if he doesn't accept it, she's packing up her stuff and she's going back with Maria. So Mina says that, she wants to be a part of his family, or she wants Clayton to be a part of the family and not be treated any differently than Maria. And she says she doesn't want, but she also doesn't want to pressure him because she doesn't want it to feel like emotional blackmail. So she knows that his family will think the adoption is what?
You don't want to pressure him because you don't want it to feel like emotional blackmail, but you gave him an ultimatum. Either I'll sign the prenup if you do this. Whatever. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You stupid. So she knows his family will think the adoption is weird, but she just wants Clayton to feel accepted. So they go out to dinner for Mark's birthday. He takes her to this French bistro, which I thought was super cute, because she can actually read the menu. They go out for dinner. I already said that. So then they discuss the wedding, and Mina mentions Clayton's clothes for the wedding. But then Mark adds, "Oh, well, I've talked to the shop and they have something for him if he can make it." Why did he say that? And so Mark is like, I know she's going to be heartbroken if he can't. And I'll be hurt as well. But I'm choosing to be optimistic. And I said, okay. So then Mina tells him that she's willing to sign a prenup, but only under one condition. This is what Nels was talking about. And she tells him she wants him to adopt Clayton as his son. Mark says that he was already planning on adopting him, so you didn't even have to sign a prenup.
When she got emotional, this is how I know I'm getting older, y'all, because what? I didn't cry.
No, you know what it was? It wasn't her getting emotional. It was him that kind of made me tear up when he was like, I feel so guilty. Like I can't do anything. Like I wish, because he has money. Money is not the problem. And I think that's what's upsetting him is it doesn't matter the amount of money. I can't control the fact that, you know what I mean? I can't make this happen any faster.
Her tears, the fact that he was just like, oh, that was the plan all along. And she was like, because remember, she was kind of stressed out about it, whether he was actually going to go along with it or not. And when he was like, yeah, I love Clayton. Yeah, I was going to do that anyway. And then literally the waterfall, she couldn't even stop crying. And I was just like, I mean, she was really worried about this. Like, even talking to her old ladies about it. I was just like, oh.
Right. No. So yeah, then pretty much, she cries out of happiness, and he's gonna adopt Clayton. He wants to be that father figure in his life, and that's what it was. And it was a cute scene, and so she got what she wanted, and everybody's happy, and hopefully Clayton will be here in time. Staying optimistic, like Mark.
So next up is Teresa's fave, Juan and Jessica, J&J. So they're headed to South Dakota for their joint bachelor and bachelorette party. She says that she has the boys staying with their dad, and her mom is coming with them so she can watch little baby David. So they go to the house, and Jessica doesn't know what to expect because she said Megan is normally full of surprises, and she doesn't know what Herbie has in store for Juan. Now, Juan's bestie, Leonardo, is even coming to hang out with them. Apparently, he left Colombia at 9, and he hasn't seen this man in 23 years. But he said when his mom and dad passed, they got really close. They both this made me emotional too. Like
I didn't realize. I don't think I heard that part. I didn't realize his parents passed.
Yes. So I didn't cry, but like my eyes got watery. So they both got emotional when they, saw each other for the first time in so long. And I just thought it was super sweet because, they started off hugging. I think they were trying to be strong, but then they both let their emotions take over. So then he was like, look, are you cool if I, ride with him over to Mount Rushmore? Because, I ain't seen him in 23 years. Girl, I see you every day. So in the car, he's discussing how, he got there, he can't work, and, he's anxious to be able to provide for his child. And on the cruise, he's making money. And now he's stuck in this small little podunk town. Okay. So he lets him know that he got a call from the cruise and it would be good, but then, basically Jessica will be there with the baby by herself. I loved that his friend said, he told him, talk to Jessica. Because that's who you're in a relationship with and who you have a child with. She can advise you best in that sense. Basically, stop going to everybody and their mama looking for advice and just go to your soon-to-be wife and discuss it with her. And he feels like, if he goes back on the boat, just maybe Jessica may not be able to handle it because it'll be, back like they're in a long distance relationship. Well, and let's keep in mind, you did cheat on her last time you were on the boat. So they got to Mount Rushmore, and Juan is just not impressed.
I wasn't either. I was, especially in the rain like that. You gonna pull me out the car to do all this, and we can't see nothing.
But I think Juan is just used to like the cruise life, going to different islands. He's from Colombia, and like everything is just like, ew. There's dirt, there's poop, there's cold. What the hell did you bring me to? Like, I'm used to fun in the sun. What is this? So then Jessica said, she's okay with him having strippers. And she wants him to, enjoy himself, but basically he better be good. So then Megan gifted Juan with a shirt full of pictures of Jessica. He feels like, she gave it to him just so he don't do nothing stupid. And I would agree. I think that's exactly what she had in mind.
What that was, right.
Jessica is excited to finally get a break from the kids and from being responsible. She's also nervous about Juan, but she said not too much because of the shirt he has on. So I guess good job, Megan. You eased your friend's anxiety.
Okay.
Juan said there was girls coming downstairs and he don't know what the hell is going on, but he loves it. Okay, he loves this little town. This is probably the only thing he loved while he was out there. While Jessica has everybody offering to buy them drinks because it's quite obvious, she's getting married. Now, this is all reminding him of how much he loved being on the boat. So much so that he's talking to the guys about whether it's bad that he misses boat life. And it probably didn't help that, he had a lady dancing on his lap. I'm sure, that's also boat life. And I think I would say he had a little bit more fun than Jessica. They ain't even had no strippers. Like, type of bachelorette party is that?
You stupid.
I'm for real. So when he got home, Jessica said, he looks like such a sweet, good little boy. Like he just came home from church, when really he just came home from the whorehouse. Girl, you ain't gonna be able to catch no cues. That's girl. So then they get back to the room and he decides this is the best time to talk to her about going back on the boat. And she told him that she doesn't want that life. They've done it for years and it's not fair to their son. Only seeing him 2 months out the year. And basically told him, if that's the life you want, then don't waste my time. So yeah, that is how long.
That is a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot. All righty, then let's move on to our favorite throuple. That's Matt, Amani, what is it? Amani and Ani. Okay. Now, Amani and Matt have met up with Ray, who happens to be Annie's ex. She's a little surprised at how small he is. They told him that they'd heard a lot about him, although they've never met, but they've been sending him money for Ani. So he shares that he found out about them through social media. So Amani asks if, well, did she tell you that we were in a serious relationship? And he was like, no.
Absolutely not.
Ray tells production that he thinks they want to find out who she really is. And Ray said it might hurt, but he plans to be honest. So Amani says she only knows them because or he only knows them because they was sending money or whatever. And asked Ray if so were you really her ex-boyfriend? And he said, well, we dated in 2022 when we broke up right before Christmas. He said, but we remain friends. He reveals that he's met all her kids and, opened up a bank account for her because he cared about her. And so Matt was like, I just feel a certain type of way. I feel like his relationship has surpassed ours. And I was like, Matt, get it together. Amani brings up that Ani said he wanted to marry her. And Ray admits that he did. But he absolutely sabotaged the relationship because he got scared after meeting his kids, is what he says. Then he calls, and then he tells him that he did meet Ani at the club. But he said, I know her as Brenda. So they're like, Brenda. And he was like, yeah, that's what's on her ID. Her name is Brenda. So Amani gets upset when she learns that her name is Brenda and says, well, I don't even know how to look at her now. She reveals
just her stripper name.
Yeah.
Her real name, not your stripper name.
Right. She reveals they plan to propose to her at the end of the trip. And it was like, and we over here about to get a divorce so my husband can marry her. And Ray says, well, I thought y'all were just having fun. He asked if she's told them. He was like, well, do you know that she's married? And he explains, but she is getting a divorce, but you do know she's married. And Amani was like, hold on. I ain't know nothing about that. She's like, this is too much. She said, matter of fact, can we call her and ask her to join us? And so Ray was like, damn, I know she ain't gonna like me. She may never talk to me again, but it is what it is. So they call, ask her to come, and 45 minutes later, Ani arrives and Amani greets her and says, hey, Brenda. And then, of course, they cut.
Stuck like Chuck.
She was stuck like Chuck. Very much so. But yeah, y'all, so that was pretty much this episode of the 90 Day Fiancé. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button.
Make sure you comment.
Make sure that you subscribe.
And you hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's the TikTok, Blue Sky, IG, and the Facebook. And yeah, y'all have a great weekend. Be safe. Bye-bye.